done videoing. Connor, move.
All right, guys, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the tigers tonight. This is Bella. This is one of our Bengal tigers. Bella is 7 years old on Earth Day. Just going to give her a little bite right here. Oh. Bella is a Bengal tiger. In order to have a white tiger, both tiger parents have to carry a recessive gene. Both of her parents are orange, so she is a natural-born white. Natural-born white tigers are born once every 10,000 cubs. Now, a natural-born white would also include if one of the parents is orange as well, okay? So the father to the cubs here, Apollo, is orange. He also carries that recessive gene. So they had 2 cubs born this year. Of those cubs, one is white and one is orange. Now, some folks will ask, well, would you have a better chance of a white tiger if you wanted to breed 2 whites together? You would have an increased chance, but you'll also get crossed eyes or a cleft palate. White tigers, along with that recessive gene, can also carry crossed eyes or cleft palate gene. It is dominant when both of the mom and dad are white, so you don't ever want to do that. You want them to be born naturally white. Bella here weighs about 490 pounds. She eats 50 pounds of chicken a night. She's going to talk to me back and forth here. She's about 50 pounds of chicken a night. The father to the cubs, Apollo, is 600 pounds. Both of the cubs, we got 1 male and 1 female. Your males are going to weigh more than your females will. Some folks will ask sometimes why you separate the father from the cubs. All of your large cat species, and sometimes your house cats as well, along with pair species, you separate the males from the females when the cubs are born. That is because in the wild, the females take their cubs away from males because males will eat or kill the cubs. They do that in order to bring the female back into estrus so that only the strongest genes can be passed along to cubs. So they don't often delineate between their own cubs versus a rival male's cubs. Now the cubs come in and out sometimes. Mostly they're out at night when visitors are not here, and that's mainly because some of you were up here a little while ago. Bella was laying outside. The cubs came out. She usually takes the orange one back in first and then the white one. The orange one's a little mischievous, so she takes it in first. It's just a protective mom. She's still used to, or not used to visitors looking at her cubs. So as she gets used to visitors, those cubs and her will be out more and more throughout the day. Originally, there were 9 subspecies of tigers that roamed the planet. There are now only 6. 3 of those are extinct. Give her another little treat there. 3 of those are extinct. There are only 6 subspecies of tigers now. Your Bengal tiger is the most common of all your tigers. The Amur tiger is the rarest of all the tigers. The Amur tiger is also known as the Siberian tiger. That is the largest subspecies of tiger. Your male Amur tigers will weigh somewhere between 800 and 1,000 pounds. For Bengal tigers, maximum weight that's healthy for them is about 600 pounds on a male. Most of your females are going to be around 500 pounds. And folks always ask inside the zoo, are your tigers tame? The tigers here are not tame, they are trained. There's a great difference between a trained tiger and a tame tiger. Tame tigers don't exist. Trained tigers do. And what that means is here at the zoo, the tigers can go in and out of their lockout areas on command. That helps with things like veterinary care, as well as if there is a tornado warning. We don't want the cats outside their exhibit area, so they go into their lockout during that time. They'll also come against the fence for blood draws, things like that. Those are all things that make tiger and keeper life inside a zoo much easier. Now, most of the time in zoos, your baby tigers a lot of times will be hand-raised by the staff in order to teach them those routines. Because Bella is very well equipped at doing her routines, she's going to teach those cubs to do the same thing that she does. So we much prefer to have a natural raising of the cubs as opposed to interfering with hand-raising those guys. Now, in addition to just their raw chicken that they get, they'll get an Oasis vitamin on that chicken. It is whole bones. And usually, every so often, they'll get live prey inside the zoo, usually in the form of chickens. It's great entertainment for the cats, not so great for the chicken. Anybody have any questions about tigers? Right over here. Would it be more what? I'm sorry. In dark or snow? Really, in the wild, they'll struggle a little bit if they're in a jungle, which is the habitat where the Bengals are from. they'll struggle to survive. They just won't blend in quite as well, although they do have the individual striping, which helps camouflage them. They're also white, so it is a little more difficult. Tigers also only have about a 20% success rate with kills in the wild, so that further hampers them. Yes, sir? Tigers in captivity will live about twice as long as they will in the wild. These guys can live roughly 15 years. Occasionally you'll get one a little older. The main reason, obviously, that they live longer in captivity is there's a whole lot better diet for them. They're not looking for their food. Veterinary care is available at the drop of a hat, and they have no predation. In the wild, they struggle at about 5 years. Their main destruction in the wild is habitat destruction, as well as they'll kill the tigers for various body parts of the tiger for Eastern medicine. Yes, sir?
Which ones are more rare, the orange ones or the white ones?
Well, the white ones are going to be more rare. They're still born in the wild. There was a documentary not too long ago of a Bengal tiger that was born white in the wild. They just don't live as long. Again, they can't camouflage themselves. They'll starve a lot of times. But also because of poaching, it's a whole lot easier to get one of the white ones for them to kill the white ones. So these guys are, although they only have a 20% success rate with kills, they're also very good at killing once they get a hold of prey. Your Bengal tigers have the largest canines of any of your subspecies of tigers. Their canines are going to be about 3.5 inches long and about as big around as my thumb. If a tiger in the wild loses those canines, it also loses the ability to kill its prey most of the time, and they will starve to death. Any questions down this way? If I can't see you, just holler at me.
Is there ever a tiger that's born without stripes?
Occasionally you will get a tiger born without stripes. A white tiger occasionally is born, it's called a snow. They're just born with a varying stripe pattern. It's usually real light across the head and absent across the back of the body. It's just another variation in that gene. Most of the time they're going to have blue eyes too. They're not an albino. A lot of times folks will say, well, the white tiger's an albino. True albinism, in order for that to happen, there has to be a lack of pigment, period, so the cat would have pink eyes. I am not aware of any tigers born that were true albinos. Any other questions? You got one back there, sweetie? How old are they? Bella is 7 years old. She turned 7 on Earth Day. Apollo is 6 years old. Now, Apollo will stay off exhibit for roughly 18 to 24 months. These cubs will stay on exhibit with mom. In the wild, they'll stay with her for about 24 months. She teaches them to hunt during that time period. We're not sure yet. The zoo hasn't made that decision on whether the male will come back right now. The zoo doesn't breed tigers every year. Most of the time, the female is on birth control. We do have additional tigers that we breed babies for to replace those older cats. And so Apollo may come back. He may stay off exhibit for a bit. No, there's one white, one orange.
How does she do that?
Orange one is a female. The white one is a male. Well, I'm going to keep her there with the door open a little bit if the cubs want to come out. But they're used to her coming right back and getting them. With a crowd this size, she's afraid something's going to hurt her cubs, and so she's just going to pick them up and take them right back in.
So will they stay here with her?
They'll stay here with her. Yeah, for 18 to 24 months, they'll be right here with her. Once they get a little more apt on their feet, and yesterday, as a matter of fact, was the first day they came out on their own. She immediately took them back in. Today, they started coming out a little more, driving her a little more crazy, and so she'll get used to them coming out and staying out over the next couple of weeks. Once she's out, she spends most of her day outside sunning herself. Yes, ma'am. Once they're older, they're going to stay with her for roughly 24 months. They'll either go off exhibit here, or we're constantly rotating animals inside the zoo. And so the two cubs may stay here a bit while the mom goes off exhibit for a bit. That decision hasn't been made yet. Sometimes they go to other zoos. The zoo here participates with the SSP, Species Survival Program, one of the few private zoos that does that. So we loan animals to other zoos around the country. Sometimes they do stay off exhibit here at the zoo. We do have animals that are in breeding situations off exhibit and stay there. It just sort of depends on the needs around us. I'll tell you an interesting study. Sometimes visitors want to know, interesting enough, some visitors will ask, do you turn the tigers loose and they just get to roam the big area after hours? That would be a terrible idea. Lots of things in here in the zoo they could eat. We often think because they're a very large cat, they require very vast spaces in order to live. Studies on tigers in the wild have shown that if a tiger has enough to eat, it feels safe and has a place for shelter, those cats will not leave a 1 acre area. What do your house cats do most of the day? Sleep, right? They sleep because they feel safe, they've got plenty of food, and there's a nice place to nap. Tigers are the same way. In the wild, they'll range about 100 kilometers looking for food, mainly because with a 20% success rate, most deer and hoofed animals are going to outrun them. They're going to ambush those animals. So, because they have a low success rate, they go hungry in the wild a lot. So, ample food, plenty of places to stay and shelter. They are going to stay in a 1 acre area. So, in captivity, your cats are well content to sleep 16 hours a day in different spots inside the exhibit.
Do they go back in at night? Or do they stay?
No, they'll stay out at night. The only time the cats are locked down, any of the predators inside the zoo are locked down during inclement weather, would be an imminent tornado or something like that. Other than that, they prefer to be out at night. Different zoos have different opinions on locking carnivores up at night. Several of them will lock them up at night. We do not. That's when your cats and carnivores are most active, and so we don't believe that locking them in their lockout areas at night is good. There is staff here at the zoo 24/7, so the cats being out having fun at night is usually what we allow them to do. Any other questions? Let's see.
Is it common for tigers in captivity to breed?
Yeah, it depends. Cats are relatively easy to breed, but cats also, males and females will fight to the death sometimes. In the wild, most of your cat species, except for lions, are solitary, so they only come together during breeding season. And even at that, a larger male will sometimes kill a female. So it's iffy. You can't just put two cats together and expect to have babies. But once you get a good pair together, they typically do fairly well. They're watched very closely, monitored closely during the breeding season. They can have anywhere from 2 to 6 cubs.
Oh, here comes a baby.
Oh, there's one coming out there.
Yep.
So if you hear that noise that she's making, right, that is not a purr, that's called a chuff. Tigers lack the ability to purr. Your house cats have a soft palate in the roof of their mouth. So when breathing in and breathing out, they can vibrate that palate. Your house cat purring is a sign of contentment. Bella makes a noise like this. That is a chuffing noise. That's a sign of contentment. That's like a purr in a house cat.